Hey everyone, this is Gary House, Cooking Everything Outdoor Show, and today I'm going to show you how to make leek and potato soup in a beer bread bowl. Kid you not. Gary House, the Outdoor Cook, Cooking Everything Outdoor Show. I hope you try this at home. To get started, on our beer bread soup bowl, we need to get our Camp Chef big gas grill heated up. Now, I've set this up where I've taken the top two grates, I've taken one out, and I put one reversed on the bottom to separate it from the bottom of the barbecue box. We want to fire up both burners. We're looking for 350 degrees. To make our beer bread, it's just a basic beer bread recipe. 3 cups of all-purpose flour, 3 tablespoons of sugar, 1 tablespoon of salt, 1 can of very inexpensive beer. Want a little bit more browning on the top of my beer bread this time, so I'm going with an egg wash, 1 egg white. Just need a spoon, pastry brush, and our cake pan that we're going to be using. This is an 8 by 3 inch cake pan that we'll be putting our beer bread in. You could also use a 5 quart or an 8 inch Dutch oven. To make our beer bread, we simply add 3 tablespoons of sugar, 1 teaspoon of salt, mix those together till they're blended well. One can of beer. Blend that well. Once you've mixed your flour, self-rising flour, sugar, and salt together, can of beer should look like a wet glop. We need to take our cake pan and coat it with some either vegetable oil, canola oil. I prefer Crisco, very traditional coating. Get a nice coating all around. Once we're greased, we need to take our beer bread, and it's just going to glop into the pan. Rustic looking bread, it'll be very craggy. That's exactly what we're looking for. Now we need to apply a little egg wash. Just 1 egg white. Now that we're at 350 degrees, time to put our beer bread in. Right in the center. Close it up. It's going to take 35-40 minutes. The ingredients we'll be using for our leek and potato soup: 2 large russet potatoes, which we'll peel and cube, 3 large garlic cloves minced, 7 tablespoons of butter, 2 teaspoons of kosher salt, 1 large white onion sliced, 5 leeks sliced, washed, only the white stem parts and part of the little green. The top leaves we're going to save for stock. 4 cups of chicken or vegetable stock or broth, in a 12-inch Camp Chef Dutch oven. So while our bread's cooking, we need to get going on our leek and potato soup. I've started to preheat my 12-inch Camp Chef Dutch oven. I've added my 7 tablespoons of butter, and it's melting now. Once we have this completely melted, we're going to start sauteing our white onions. I'm going to saute these for a few minutes, but we don't want to brown them. Once our white onions have softened, we want to add our garlic for about a minute more. Stirring just to release the aromatics of the garlic. Been about 5 minutes on the white onions, about a minute on the garlic. Now we're going to add our leeks. And our salt. Stir all this together. We're going to want these to sweat for about 8 minutes with the lid on. Stirring every couple minutes to make sure they don't burn. So it looks like our beer bread's done. We want to get that off the fire before it burns. So our leeks have sweated for about 8 minutes, just enough time to cut the potatoes up into little cubes. And that looks really good. The smell of the leeks is just absolutely divine. And we're going to let these cook for just a couple minutes, and then we're going to add our stock to this. Our leeks, onions, and potatoes have been cooking on low. Now that we're going to add our stock to it, we're going to want to turn that up so it comes to a boil and we can simmer it. Just topping the vegetables. So our potato and leek soup is coming to a boil here, and what I want to do now is reduce it down to low and get a nice steady simmer. We're going to do this until our potatoes are tender. While our soup is finishing up, let's prepare our beer bread soup bowl. Just take a serrated knife, and we want to pretty much as evenly as possible just take a good portion of the top off. Once we've done that, take a knife and just go around the perimeter. Be very careful not to go down into the bottom of your bread bowl because we might have a leak. So just imagine about a 3/8 of an inch away from the bottom without popping and going through. And then just take your fingers in there and start pulling out that wonderful, flavorful beer bread. And the idea is we want to get several ladlefuls in there. Now once your potatoes have softened to where you like them, but don't over soften them, it does make the soup a little grainy, if you will. Double check to make sure you don't need to add any additional stock, and then it's time to remove it from the heat. And this pot will be hot. The original recipe calls for you to take this and put it in a blender and puree it, or put an emulsion blender in there. But, you know, we're cooking outdoors. I'm not going to run an extension cord out here. And when you're camping, you're probably not going to want to do that either. But we can take a potato masher and break it down quite a bit. It's a nice, creamy, thick texture with some bite to it. Once you're done pureeing with your cowboy blender, you need to take a taste test at this point. If you want to add more flavor to it, you can add some more salt at this point, and even some pepper, but I'd recommend white pepper, not black, unless you want to see little black flecks floating around in your soup. So this is a nice, thick, hearty, robust soup, and I think we're going to serve it up. Take some chives and sprinkle a few over the top or on the table. Take a last little bit of decoration there. Before I go, I want to take a second to thank my sponsors, Camp Chef at OutdoorCooking.com and IslandGrillstone.com. Without them, none of this would be possible. If you like this video and you like what I'm doing, leave a comment down below on YouTube. Give it a big like. If you're on iTunes, go over there and give it a 5-star rating. Really makes a difference. This is Gary House, Cooking Everything Outdoors. You can find me at cooking-outdoors.com, iTunes, YouTube, Pinterest, Facebook, Twitter, and wherever else I might end up. Hey, thanks again.